Wow, these native bushtucker berries are delicious. And I'm going to tell you what they are because they grow just few meters from here. So, you know, and maybe you can grow them too. But this video really is about the importance of 3 layers of urban biodiversity, which is this, and that's what we're going to explore today. But first you may be asking, what's the point of urban biodiversity? Isn't that a contradiction of terms? Because aren't cities and urban and suburban areas for people and dogs and maybe a few street trees and a lawn and hedge and pigeons, right? Why bother with biodiversity? And that's a good question. Well, 80% of Australians live in urban and suburban areas. So that's anyone from a little toddler to your old grandma or grandpa, right? And anywhere in between. Which means if we don't have thriving biodiversity in our cities where people live, then are we going to be appreciating nature? Imagine the children, if they are actually not on the screen, on the iPad or a phone, if they don't have thriving local bush care sites such as this one, are they going to be appreciating and caring for nature? Well, I don't think so. And there are many other benefits. For example, sites like these, they reduce stormwater and urban pollutant runoff because during the rain, the water doesn't just wash off the concrete into the stormwater system and into the drain and ocean with all the pollutants, but it's being filtered by the soil and by the roots and the beneficial microorganisms in the soil. They also cool down our cities by providing shade and also by sweating, which is called transpiration. Yes, plants and trees sweat as well. And they also enhance the recreation value of places where we live, which, for example, if you are interested in property values, might be something of interest. By having plant variety, that means that there are different plants flowering at different times throughout the year. And that allows various pollinators to pollinate these plants. And as you know, without pollinators, there is no food. Okay, so the first out of 3 layers of urban biodiversity, and what I mean by that, it's different layers that provide different habitat for different plants and animals, okay? So at the ground level, we have ground covers, which I'm gonna show you there. See that ground cover there? And on the photo as well, on the photos, you see different photos of different ground covers from around this site. So it's all from 50-meter radius here. Now, do you see how it's kind of almost like a wire covering on the ground there? Now, what it does is that it provides habitat for lizards and beneficial insects that can hide in there. The other purpose of ground covers is to cool down your area. So when the sun hits, it doesn't get absorbed, that heat doesn't get absorbed by, let's say, concrete or exposed dirt, but it actually provides energy for the plants, and the plants then serve its purpose by kind of creeping over the side. They outcompete the weeds we don't want, these are all natives, and this Aenidia hastata berry saltbush actually is edible. It produces really tasty, small, red, bittersweet berries. Now, the other layer that we have after the ground cover layer, we have mid-story shrubs. For example, we have this Brainia obliquofolia. Okay, do you see it here? Okay, so the mid-story shrub layer, and I'm gonna actually show you a bit closer, you can see it there. And on the photos again, you see this layer from around this side again. Now, what is its purpose of this layer? So the small birds that are vulnerable and often endangered in our urban areas, in our cities, they can hide in there. Why are they endangered? Well, because urban development often means either lawns or tall big trees, which doesn't provide habitat for these small birds because they have nowhere to hide, and then they become prey of predatory bigger birds who prey on them and kill them. So by planting this thick mid-story layer, you are creating homes for these small birds. And did you know that in just this area in the west, which is very heavily urbanized area of Sydney, has more than 160 native birds? And the third layer is the tree layer, right? Now, I want you to see this. Do you see that tree behind the Brainia oblingofolia we just looked at, the Midstory Shrub? Behind we have water gum, Tristaniopsis lorina. So, and it provides habitat for mammals, small mammals, and also larger birds. Not so much smaller birds, but larger birds, but we have Brainia there for smaller birds, so we don't need to worry about small birds. Now, I want you to see this. Do you see now, when you look at the whole site, I'm going a little bit back here, right? Do you see how all of these three layers are represented here? We've got the ground covers, right? That's the berry saltbush. Then we've got the Brainia oblingofolia shrub there, that's the Midstory Shrub layer. And then we've got the taller trees, we've got the water gum there, right? So all of these three layers together. Okay, so if you want to improve biodiversity at your site, whether it's a schoolyard, preschool yard, around the service, in a car park even, at home, in your backyard, at your local bush care site, by planting these three different layers of biodiversity together, right, in the same area, you will help the small lizards, you will help the small birds, and you will help the larger birds and mammals, right? There are more than 350 native plants in just the local government area of the Inner West. So let's just go beyond the lawn and the street tree. Okay, so here are the berries. You can see them growing here. Do you see? Berries and around, and there are many plants throughout the site and pretty much anywhere this time of the year. It's called Dianella cerulea, or blue flax lily. They are delicious. Then, in my opinion, they are not as delicious as Aenidia hastada, berry saltbush, but it doesn't have a fruit at this time of the year. So, you know, you gotta live on something. So anyway, I hope you got some value today. You have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.